Hey friends, it's Rachel with Simple Tech Connections, and in this video I'm going to show you how to create an opt-in form for your WordPress site in MailerLite. Okay, so if you're using MailerLite as your email service provider, then you need to watch this video because you need an opt-in form on your WordPress site. All right, so you're going to need two windows open for sure. You're going to need your MailerLite dashboard and you're going to need your WordPress dashboard. Okay, this is just a testing website that I have. My business used to be called Easy Blog Design, and then I expanded it to Simple Tech Connections. And this is just my website that I like to test things out on, try to break things, and do tutorials on. Okay, so you want it to be open and you want your MailerLite dashboard. Okay. Now, this is not a design tutorial necessarily. This is more how to do the technical aspects of things, but I am going to take you through the form creation so you have a good idea of how to do the things you want to do for your form. So, once you're inside your MailerLite dashboard, I'm going to need you to come over here on the left-hand side and click on Forms. Okay, so you have a couple different options here for forms. You have pop-ups, embedded forms, and promotions. Now today we are going to be looking at embedded forms. Creating a pop-up is going to be similar. There's a couple different settings that you need to work with. However, I highly, strongly, whatever word you want to use, encourage you not to add pop-ups to your website. I can't even begin to tell you how many people that I've heard say how much they hate pop-ups on websites, myself included. Especially on mobile, like sometimes you can't get them to go away. It's just a hot mess, okay? So if at all possible, use an embedded form, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So click on embedded forms right here. And then you're going to click on create forms. Now, if this is your first form you've ever created in MailerLite, there's probably going to be an option down here somewhere. Like underneath the pop-up, it's going to say create. But since I already have some forms created, I'll have to click up here. All right, now we're going to name our form. So this is going to be my EBD testing site form submission form. Let me just do form. Okay, and again, make sure embedded is checked. Then click on save and continue. Now just name your form whatever you can remember it as, okay? This part isn't going to be showing up to people. The title of it, it's just for you on your end so everything stays organized, okay? Now, the next thing you're going to need to do is choose subscriber groups. So if you don't have any subscriber groups, this is going to be empty. I also strongly urge you to create groups for each form that you make, just so your people are segmented, okay? The other thing is, like, if you wanted to, okay, so say you had a homestead blog, and you wanted people to be able to choose whether or not they wanted gardening tips, livestock tips, or cooking tips, okay? They could choose all three of those, or they could choose one of those. We have the option to add checkboxes later. So that's another good reason to create groups here. So if you want to segment your people that way, okay? So I am just going to put, okay, I'm going to choose two of these so I can show you that checkbox option later. So I'm going to choose homepage signups and test site form submissions. And then once you have your group set, you'll click continue. Now, if you need to add a new group, you'll just click the add new group button, create the name of the group, and then click on create, okay? So again, once you have these selected, the ones you want, one or multiples, click on continue. Now, it's going to open up just a very basic, simple form, the default form that MailerLite has here, okay? But we're going to change it, make it colorful, make it on brand, etc. Okay, so first of all, we need to come over to our WordPress dashboard. Now, if you open up the home page of your, so we're gonna embed this form on our homepage. Okay, so this is what my homepage looks like. It's still got the just basic theme on here because I change it all the time. So we need to decide where we want this form to go, right? Like, for instance, here's one that I added as a testing before. So I think I want to put this form right here in this row. Okay, so we need to decide if we want it to have a white background or if we need it to have a background that's like the same color as this block, etc. Okay, so let's open your WordPress dashboard and let's go to our pages. And then we're going to find our home page and click edit. Now, ideally, like, these colors are going to be your brand colors, so you're going to know what those colors, like the hex codes, are anyway. I don't know what the hex code is for this color, so we're finding it. So once your page opens up, you're going to scroll down to that area you want to add your form, okay? We're going to click on that. We're going to make sure the row layout is the one checked because that's the one that's got the background color on it. We're going to come over here on the right hand side and click on style and see right here where it says background color. We're going to click that little circle and we're going to copy this hex code right there. And we're going to come back over to our MailerLite form, okay? So we're going to click right here on background. We're going to drop that hex code in there and we're going to click save. The other option is you can add a background image if you wanted to go behind your form, and that's totally up to you. So click on save when you've got that ready. Next thing we want to look at is form, background, and layout. Okay, so this color, this gray right here, is the one we're going to change here. So again, you're going to want to just do something that matches your branding. So for me, I think I'm just going to make this background white for now. I'm sorry. Actually, I changed my mind. I'm going to make it this other color that this website uses. Okay. Maybe just a smidge lighter because that's kind of dark. Play around with the colors. This video isn't about colors. Change it to however you like it to look for your website and your brand, okay? All right, and again, you can change this as a background to a background image if you want to. Once you have that set the way you want, go ahead and click on save. The next thing we're going to look at right here is layout, okay? So the first thing you need to decide is if you want this to be a full width form or if you want it to be like narrow, if you want it to be wide, how you want that to look. So I'm going to come back over here to my home page and take a look. So I like to create forms that have opt-in forms that have like an image with them, especially if it's an opt-in form for like a digital, like a free resource, like a free. If I'm creating an opt-in area for a like free guide or free resource, I like to include a picture of that. So I like to have like a picture right here, and like on this side of this block is where we'll put our form. So let's come back to our MailerLite. Okay, let me show you. So if you click on full width, you can see it's going to take up the full width of your page. Okay, so that's going to be a lot. Let's change it back to default, and then we can change our width right here. So like we could do like 800, oh, not 8,000, like an 800, and have a wider option. We could do like a 600. Okay, that's going to be plenty big if you're going to have like an image and your opt-in form. Okay, I definitely wouldn't go any bigger than that. You can change the border around this right here if you wanted to. You could add a border and you could change the color of it right here. You can also change the border radius, which changes how curved the corners are. And then you can have your form alignment set, and that's going to be like where it is. This will show up more like when you actually add it to your design, but I usually just leave it as center unless I'm going for like a very specific design element. Okay. So once you get that set the way you want to, go ahead and click on save. Now, before we go any farther, I want to pop right back up here to where it says default. So if you click on change right here, you have 3 options. You have the inline option, which is default, which is what we have right here right now. You also have a horizontal option where it moves that like the subscribe button over to the side, and if you added any other boxes like a name box, it would go like right here, and then your email, and then your button. Okay, and then you also have the card option, which is an inline form, but it gives you the option to put an image up on the top. Okay, so for our purposes, I think we are just going to stick with default for now, because I like to get a name. I like to have the option for people to drop their name when they're signing up. But if you don't, if you just want an email, go ahead and just use the horizontal because it looks really nice as well. So I'm going to click on default and choose. All right, now we're coming down to our style settings, okay? So like our fonts and things like that. So under content style, click on heading number 1. That's going to be this right here. You can change the color. You can change the size. I like to have a nice large font for my websites just because I like people to be able to see. Also, I'm getting old and blind and I like to see things. So you can change it from bold lettering or normal lettering, whichever you prefer. You can change your font family. I have Enter as one of my fonts. I'm just going to choose that. And then you can also set the alignment. So it can be centered, justified, left, or right justified. Okay. And then once you have that set the way you want, click on save and then click on text right here. And that's going to let you edit this text area right here. You can change the font colors. You can change link colors. You can change the font size. I usually bump that up just a little bit. You can change the font itself and then the alignment. Okay. Go ahead and click on save once you have that the way you want it. Now let's talk about form elements. Okay. So the input is going to be the background of this box right here. It's set to white currently. You can change that to however you want to. Font color is the font that's going to be typed in here. Font size, the size of the font in here. You can change the font family. Wrong button. You can change the width of the border. Like right now, it has a really light gray border around it, and that works for me. But you can change the width as well as the color. And again, the border radius, you can change how curved that border is around that. Or if you really like the boxy, sharp corners, you can take that border radius completely off. Save that. Now your label. So on this form, we currently don't have a label showing. So like if our label was showing, it would say like email above here. Okay. If that's how you want to set up your form, you can change that information right here. Now, if we had checkboxes set up, you can go in and change the fonts and other stylings for the checkboxes right there. Next up, we have the call to action button. Go ahead and click there. That's this button right here. You can change the background color. I think I'm going to grab this font or this color again and come back over here and drop that in for my background. And then your hover color is what color it changes to when somebody hovers over it. Okay? You can make that a different color or you can make it the same color, whichever you prefer. Font size, I like to bump that up a little bit just so it's nice and big and people can see. You can change your font color, normal or bold. You can change your font family just to make it nice and same all the way through. And your border radius you can change as well. So click save when you're done with that. Okay. The next thing I want to go over is over here under settings. Click on that. And these are other things that you can add to your form. So you can add a little area that talks about your privacy policy, a confirmation checkbox if you want people to check that, yes, they do want to opt in to receive your stuff. Marketing permissions. So this probably wouldn't look great from a design perspective if you put it on your homepage, but if you're someplace where you are required to use this, it is an option for you. Now, interest groups, this is what I was talking about earlier. Remember when we chose our groups and added new groups earlier? Like, for instance, if you had a homestead blog and wanted somebody to have the option to sign up for gardening tips or livestock raising tips or cooking tips or all of them or one or the other or two, this is what your interest groups checkboxes would look like if you added those ahead of time. If you want people to go to a custom landing page after they sign up for your newsletter, you can check this and then you can add that URL right here. And then we also have the reCAPTCHA option. Again, I don't know if I'm saying that right. I'm just going to go with it. This does help with spam, but you can choose to have it there or not, okay? All right, once you get that all set the way you want it to, let's come up here to where it says success message. Now it's going to carry over your colors and your fonts and all that from your form. Now, again, we've got the settings open, but let's come back here to design. If you want to change any of these, again, you can change them from the design area. You can also edit what this says. So if you click on this box or click the little pencil box, you can change where it says thank you, and you could say something like thank you, you have successfully grabbed our free image optimization guide. Check your inbox. Something like that. It doesn't matter. Whatever sounds good for your brand and your brand voice. Okay, so click on save once you get that set up. Now come back to your subscribe form. And now we can edit this. Okay. Again, you can click inside this box or click the little pencil button. Either one will open up the option on the right hand side for you to edit this. Okay, so let's just say grab our free image optimization guide for WordPress. And then you can put whatever you wanted to here. I don't know how you would want to word that. Whatever you wanted to say. Obviously, you wouldn't say grab our free guide here and then sign up for news and special offers, but that's how we're going to leave it for right now. So click on save when you have this set up the way you want it to, okay? And then if you want to change this at all, you can click in that box or click the little pencil icon. Let me show you how to add another field. Okay, so email is by default added here. They have to add their email, and there's nothing really that you can change except what it says inside of this box. So you could change it to say email address instead of email. I like to give people the option to pop their names in as well, just because it helps me keep records straight and it helps me be a little more personal when I'm addressing customers, etc. Okay. So I like to click on add field and then it adds the name in. I like to have the name above the email, so I click right here, drag it up, and then it pops the name above the email. If you want to edit this at all, you can click the little button right here and you can change what it says inside. So you could say first name if you wanted to, or you could just leave it as name, or you could leave it as, you can change it to full name, whatever you want to. You just need to make sure, sometimes people don't want to leave their name, especially if this is the first time that they've really signed up for anything with you. And so anyways, you can decide what you want that form to say. I usually just leave it as name, and then people can decide if they want to put their first name or their full name. And then I usually don't make it a required field. Just, again, I don't want that to be a barrier for them grabbing my freebie or opting into my newsletter. So I don't require a name. But again, that's totally up to you. Whatever works for you. Okay. And then you would just click on Save Changes. Now, say you wanted to add some other type of field. If you click on Edit, come down here to where it says Field Type. There's other options for you to choose from. Like if you wanted a set of checkboxes, you could put that there. If you wanted radio buttons, you could put that there. And if you, so you could put cooking, that would be an option. Okay. So it doesn't have to just be name and email. However, if it's just an opt-in for a freebie or something like that, I would just leave it as name and email and call it good there. Okay. So to get rid of that, we're just going to come over here and click on the little delete button. Now, if you want the labels to show up above your boxes instead of inside of them, you can check that right there and they'll show up like that. Okay. All right, save that. And yeah, we're done creating our form. So click on done editing. And now it's going to create that form for us, and it's going to generate some code that we can grab and take over to our WordPress website so we can embed this form. Okay, so go ahead and scroll down a little bit. First of all, real quick, it has a share URL. If you copy this and you paste that and open it in your browser, it's going to just take people like a little landing page, okay, where they can put their information in. Now, I don't think I would use this as a landing page because it doesn't really say much, but that option is there if you need it. Okay, come back to MailerLite, scroll all the way down. We want the HTML code, which is right here. So click on that. And then you have this little copy button down here. Go ahead and click on copy. You don't have to highlight all of this before you copy it. Just click on copy and you're good to go. So then hop over to your WordPress dashboard. Okay, so we have this block here. I'm going to click on add block. Now, custom HTML pops up for me. If it doesn't show up on your little thing right there, just type in HTML and click on that, and that box will pop up. The other option is to come up here and click this plus button and then type in HTML, and you can do it that way, but see how it added it down here instead? Now I have to drag this up here where it actually goes, and it's kind of a pain. So whichever way you want to do it is fine, but that first way is the easiest way. Okay, so see where it says write HTML here? You're going to click inside of there, and then you're just going to paste that code that you just got, okay? Yeah, so you're just going to paste that in there. I use shortcuts, Control V. You can right click and paste as well, okay? So that popped our code in there. Now if you click the preview button, it's going to show you what that form looks like on your web page, okay? Now, if I was designing this, like really focusing on the design, I would make this so this is only 2 lines of text to narrow it up so it's not taking up such a big chunk of my page. And then I would, let me take this out so you can see what it looks like without a name in there. And then I would change this image to like a mock-up of my freebie or something like that, and then you'd be in good shape. If you wanted this to be full width, again, you would come to your form, and when you were editing it, you would come to the layout right here and click on like full width, okay? And then click on done editing. Now, let's take this and make it 1 column. Let's remove this row, and don't worry, I know I'm going through this little part fast, but it's not that important, okay? And let's take this, delete all of our code out, and let's grab this code, and let's see what that looks like. Okay, come back over here, paste our code in, and then click on preview. Now see, it makes it really wide. Now, from a website designer's perspective, that's a lot for me. Like, I would leave it the way I had it the first time, but again, up to you, your website. And so once you get it in here the way you want it to, you click on save. That's going to save your WordPress website. And then once that saves, let's move my face. My internet must be really slow today. Just pause for a second. All right, so once it saves, you can click this button. It'll open it in a new page, and you can see what your website actually looks like. And ta-da, there's our little opt-in form, okay? All right. The other thing you need to do always is make sure you check it in mobile view to see what that form is going to look like as well. Okay. Preview. Okay, so that's what it's going to look like in mobile, the way we have it set. Okay, if you have any questions about that, please let me know. I'll see you in the next video.